is this a good first car? Which looks like I'm sort of some sort of weird alpine mythological Yeti hunter. And I'm kind of into that. Most Porsche people are snobs. 911, air cooled, PCA. Excuse me, had something in my throat. What's up, people? I thought today I would do a review on driving the 1984 Porsche 944. Yes, that I just got done. And to make an awesome dad joke, the Porsche fabric, as you can see here, but I've got my winter driving fluffy, shearling, unshorn, crazy seats. So right now, my Porsche interior is the psychedelic furs. Yeah, I know, just bear with me. That'll be the only dad joke. Okay, moving right along. So, I don't yet have my KW suspension on. I'm pretty excited about that coming right up. And so right now it's got stock suspension on it, stock brakes, that sort of thing, but it's quite nice. Brand new tires, everything's all prettied up. Obviously interior looks great, the Momo steering wheel's on, it's running great. I've got the shifter here that's just insanely nice. It is like rock solid, locked in, perfect. And I've got the short shift kit, which goes on the transaxle, the linkage is there. So it just feels great. It feels like what a 944 should in your imagination. And also I've got that Becker exhaust, which is a stainless steel system. Catback I bought off of eBay because it was cheap. And so am I. Okay, that's dad joke too. I'm sorry, moving on. I think it sounds great. It's enough that I can make a little noise, but not so much that I'm going to completely annoy my wife. But I could completely annoy my neighbors if I wanted to, but if I don't, I don't have to. Yes, so it's kind of like the perfect amount. And I think I know where I'm going right now. But I will tell you this is the first exhaust system I've had on a 944, and I've owned like 5 or 6 of these things now, that I really liked. Because it's loud enough it barks and it does something interesting, but it's not really annoying and droning, so that's kind of nice. I had heard like a Flowmaster or something sounds really good on them, and that red one that I had previously, I think you guys had seen, literally just had a cheap chambered aftermarket muffler that was welded on, and darn thing sounded great. Had a little bit of a raspiness to it, kind of like a vintage European sports car, and I dug that. Like more vintage than it actually is, you know what I mean? But this is a lot of fun, and I kind of wanted to just bring this out there because, one, the most prominent question I think I get relating to 944s is from younger people or teenagers, like, is this a good first car or is this a good first sports car? And the answer can definitely be yes. However, there's some caveats. One, and I'm just going to speak directly, it's not a good first sports car or first vintage car for you if you're an idiot. Okay, now that being, I say that because just because you're new at cars doesn't mean that you can't have a successful ownership with a 944 as long as you're not an idiot. And by idiot, I mean you have to have realistic expectations. There's no warranty. The car is now old. It's almost as old as I am. And I've looked better, let's face it. Okay, that's kind of a third dad joke. Again, I'm sorry. But here's the neat thing. This particular 944 has more miles on it than any 944 I've had. 151,000. And the engine's been rebuilt, allegedly by what the records say, like 30,000 miles ago. So it's kind of fresh, I guess. But the rest of the car isn't really fresh. It's lived that life, it's gone that many miles, and it's been kept up. And just in having this car now, it's taught me a lesson about vintage cars, because way back when I was young, my dad was a super snob. He's still a snob. Now he's a crotchety snob, now that he's old, let's be honest. But he was just so over the top about buying cars and never fixing them up. And his advice was kind of sound, was like, buy the best example you can afford. Don't get a ratty one to fix up. Which I've later learned and kind of professed that you want to find the right value, the right example where the bones are good and you can fix it up. But I bring that point up because this car is awesome. It's tight, it's nice, it feels really new. The dashboard's cracked, so I gotta redo this crappy plastic cover, to fix that up. But if you just put some love into it, it can be awesome. And I think partially because most Porsche people are snobs. 911, air cooled, PCA. Excuse me, had something in my throat. So most of them are snobs, and for some reason 944s are not enough for them, and the prices never got inflated, which I love. And I also hope that my channel and Beating Up Porsche Snobs, by the way, you should totally join the No Snob Porsche 944 squad on Facebook if you haven't. There's like 800 people in it now. It's awesome. Anyway, so you can keep the cars up, you can keep them nice. Just don't be an idiot. Don't go banging off the rev limiter. Don't run it into the ground. Pay attention to your oils. If you can actually do that, and you're actually smart enough to read things on the internet and figure out what's true or not, and pay attention to your car, and take care of it, and take pride in putting in the elbow grease and the work, and buying some tools, and being reasonable, you can have a great experience. And that's exactly what I want to do, because this is finally the exact color combination. It's kind of weird. White with black interior, old dash, white Fuchs wheels, psychedelic Porsche, crazy person driving. You know, the combination you always want. So I got it, and it's awesome, and I love it, and I want to keep it forever. Because as an example, I've probably got now, I don't know what I've got in this, like 6,500 bucks, maybe 7 grand. That includes buying the car and fixing it up. That's a cheap car. And it doesn't make the power like my Viper does. It's not remotely as fast, it's not as ridiculous and over the top and rare and stuff. But I'll be darned if I don't like driving it basically just as much. The other thing that's wonderful about a 944, it's the middle of winter. I'm driving around. I'm not that worried about it because Porsche 944s, the bodies were galvanized for the factory, and it's actually really hard to make them rust. So that's kind of a nice thing too. It's got good weight distribution. So if you run good tires on it, you can drive it in the winter. And here in the future, when it snows again on the road, I'm gonna do a snow driving video for everybody coming up. But this car is just, I really enjoy it. It's coming along. I got some slow traffic up here, so that's kind of a drag. But doesn't it sound great? It's just charming and happy, you know? And it's not insane. Like, it's easy to work on. The parts are reasonably inexpensive. It sounds good when you drive it. And 944 transaxles. It's the transmission, but it's in the back, and it has the ring and pinion in it, so it's called a transaxle. Those things, they shift beautifully. This is probably the nicest shifting Porsche ever made. And part of that reason being is because there is a steel rod that goes directly from the shifter to the transaxle. So you have metal to metal connection, not those crappy cables. And yeah, 911s can shift well if you make them nice. And these can get sloppy. So if they get sloppy, you want the shifter if you got a bunch of play. But if you get it, it's awesome. But the gearbox just feels nice, I'll be honest. I think the 2 best shifting cars I've ever had were 944s and, believe this or not, a AC Aseca Bristol, which is an insane old and rare car, but for some reason it just shifted beautiful. I don't know why. But I'm really digging this car, guys. I love the Porsche fabric. It feels good. I think it's Porsche, whether you like the psychedelic or not, but the fabric that was typical for Porsche back in the late 70s, which you can get, there was a place I got mine from, I think Sierra Madre, I think it's called. So they have all the different Porsche colors, and they have like the pinstripes and whatnot. But versus like the Jacquard, which has a dumb Porsche script on it, you know, like a woman that gets a Coach bag. Anyway, that fabric does not feel the same as this. This has a little bit of fuzzy, almost not velour, but like almost velour, which is nice because, and I'm slowing down for some deer. Hey deer, oh dear, yes, you can go too. Yes, yes, no. Fine, don't mess up my car. Yes. Be gone, dear. Anyway, kind of feels veloury. So in the winter, it feels warmer, and this summer, it feels cooler because leather was originally, way back when, 100 years ago, for the chauffeur who sat out in the rain and cold, and they had fine fabrics for the fancy people. Oh, you know that would be done by Porsche. Fancy. But the other thing is, if you have a leather seat, you'll slide around when you're trying to corner, and the fabric kind of sticks, sort of grabs you, which is nice. Now, the other thing, you're all gonna think I'm nuts, but I bought these seat covers, and it's like shearling. You know, you'll see them in light airplanes and whatnot, but on the sides, they didn't shear it down. It's super fluffy, which looks like I'm sort of some sort of weird alpine mythological Yeti hunter, and I'm kind of into that. But I just don't care if people see it and I look like a pimp or something from the 70s with this fluffiness. It's awesome. I don't need a seat heater. I don't need it at all, even though it's freezing outside. Also, the Porsche heaters work really well, and I am freaking getting warm right now. Which I will also do a nice shout out. If you guys dig my jacket, which I do, Got it from my buddy Jonathan at Grand Prix Originals. Wait, did I get that right? Yes, Grand Prix Originals USA.com. He sells them in the United States. It's called the Rexton. It's actually pretty darn warm and light, so I dig it. Just a nice shout out. But anyway, guys, the 944, super awesome car. You guys should think of joining the No Snob Porsche 944 squad on Facebook. But I just really like it. You know, nearly the whole roof comes off, so you still get the structure of a hardtop, and you still get the good look of a hardtop. But it'll tilt open, which I think is called a sunroof technically, and then the whole thing is removable and you can put it in the trunk, which is great because the car is still real rigid to handle, but in the summer, it's nearly like having a convertible, but still having the cool manly look of a non-convertible. Anyway, I don't know why dudes don't like convertibles. They're pretty cool. It's neither here nor there. You know, beyond that, I mean, it's amazing. Like, look how well the windows work. I mean, this car is old, you know? And I would be willing to bet that basically all car manufacturers and politicians hate this car. Yes! Which means we should all own one and keep them forever and screw those people. Because it's lasting forever. I can literally drive this thing 500,000 miles. If I really wanted this to be my only car forever, I could. And if for some reason internal combustion was such a bother in the future, you could convert it to electric. So I'm not saying that because I'm a total eccentric freak. First of all, we all know I am a total eccentric freak. That's almost a dad joke, but not. It's more self-degrading humor. I'm saying that because it's true. There's a certain value to having things that last that you can keep up. So if I had to buy like that stupid Lincoln Navigator, not only would I go in debt to get it, and then pay a bunch of money in interest, and then lose money to depreciation like the Karen that's driving it, but that thing's not gonna last. They built it to fall apart. And so that person's gonna need a new car every 5 years. So if you do the math, they're having to build a new car every well, it's probably more than 5 years, but you know what I'm saying? Whereas you can just have this one awesome car and maintain it. Gee, I wonder which thing is better for the environment when you consider the economic impact. Oh, Casey, that doesn't help the automotive industry and us being an industrial powerhouse for the world. Shut up, it's not World War II. I'm moving on. Anyway, I really like the car, you guys, and I think it's worth checking out and getting into. Do not let jack stealers and snobs inflate the prices of these. They really should stay normal. I mean, that's what's happened to the entirety of the sports car world. The prices will go up naturally to an extent just as time goes by, but I really can't stand the dealers and people are just trying to inflate the prices. The 944 turbos are kind of all over because snobs kind of accept them because truthfully a 944 turbo was faster around a racetrack than the 930 turbo at the same time period. Take that, snobs. Yeah, the 944 turbo beats your stupid 911 with horde dryers. Anyway, so those are going up in price a little bit, but you can still find good ones, maybe need a little work for a reasonable, and the naturally aspirated ones are still a great bargain. So if you see a dealership trying to hyperinflate the prices of them, by all means, make fun with them, just make their life difficult, kind of jack with them a little bit, because they're jacking with you. I just like the 944 being a good car that normal people can take pride in and enjoy. You know, the art of driving and the cool history that is, oh God, I'm gonna say it, Porsche, when they got smart and put the engine in the front, where God and Henry Ford intended it. That didn't make any sense. I know, oh crap, that was almost a dad joke. I am ruining this video, and I'm not sorry. Jeez. Oh man, and it goes well in traffic. The air conditioning works, the heater works, the radio still works. It's got a tape deck because I just don't care anymore. I basically am a hipster, you know, that's the way it's going. So I might as well drive my Freak Show 944, and you should too, because I just don't give a anymore. And that is generally the best place to become in life. And so, yes, 944. Looking forward to drive it more. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys got a smile out of this, just riding along in my new 944 for fun. Definitely got to subscribe. Lots more good content coming, even better than this. See you guys next time. Very cool thing happening right now at the Packard American Motor Company. They're debuting their very first watch. This is the 1899 Model A. It's a mechanical automatic movement with a beautiful stainless steel case. All the parts are made in Switzerland. It's assembled right here in the United States. If you happen to have a Packard, you can get your serial number engraved right on it, but you guys need to go to packardamerica.us. This particular watch is mine. I'm looking very forward to wearing it more. It's frankly very comfortable, one of the best watches I've ever had. But this one's mine, not yours. You can't have it. Get your own. packardamerica.us.